Welcome on in, Dynamo Nation. My name is James, and I'll be your guide to getting your Dynasty team set on the right course for the next 20 minutes or so. So sit back, relax, and let's level up. If this is your first time here on the channel, welcome. If you're not subscribed, please take a minute to consider subscribing or liking the channel. It really helps me to deliver more Dynasty content such as this. Now that our housekeeping's out of the way, let's get into what today's episode is going to be about. And today we're looking at running backs, and specifically at what age is the optimal age to trade our running backs in Dynasty formats. And what do I mean by that? I mean, at what age can we maximize trade value with our running backs before on-field play diminishes? And so what I've done is taking data over the last two seasons, 2019 and 2020. I have not factored 2021 in yet. And we have taken a look at running backs, and we've broken them down into top 5, top 12, top 24, and top 36 finishes. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to throw our first table up on the screen. You can get a chance to take a look at it. I'm going to put it up. It's going to have the full picture here. So again, top 5, top 12, top 24, and top 36. So let's throw this up and let's have a little conversation about it. So as you can see, with our top 5 graph here, we're looking at running backs primarily in the ages of 23 to 25. That's where maximum value is going to be at for that grouping, for those top 5 dynasty backs. When we look at that top 5, no running back 27 or older has finished in the top 5 in the last 2 seasons. Also, when we look at this, we're seeing that running backs at age 21 and 22 are also not an optimal age for us in that range. It's between 23 and 25. And so that tells me a couple of different things. That tells me, A, we're not trading for running backs in that top 5 situation. So those top 5 Dynasty RBs, they're going to be way too pricey. It's going to cost us way too much. And their shelf life is so small. If we're only going to get between ages of 23 and 25 for these running backs, there's no point in us trading for them. It's going to be a diminishing return almost immediately. Okay, let's take a look at the top 12. When we look at our top 12 running backs, we kind of see the same thing. No RBs 27 or older finish in the top 12. This is a full PPR scoring format where I got these numbers from. So no RBs top 12 were 27 and older. Again, the same kind of data. We're looking at ages between 23 and 26. With these RBs, our target age is going to be to trade these running backs after their age 25 season, because we see it drops off pretty quickly from 25 to 26. Now, we'll take these RBs into their age 25 season, no problem, but we're looking to trade them pretty quickly after that. Again, that's to maximize value. For our RB2s, we can see that target age is between 25 and 27, so it's a little bit older. These running backs are a little bit more acceptable for us to have as older RBs on our roster. We're not counting on them as our, start studs every single week. But with these RBs, our target age to trade them is going to be after their age 26 season. We don't want to carry them into their age 27 season. We can still maximize and get good value after that age 26 season, but if we take them in to 27 and then they turn 28, that window has closed very quickly. So that's our RB2s. And then let's take a look at the RB3s, top 36. This is really the only time it's okay to have an older running back on your roster. And by older, I mean older than the age of 26. So 27, 28-year-olds. We can see from the table here that in the RB36, it's the widest range for running backs to finish in top 36. We have older running backs on here. We're not seeing those older RBs even in this top 24. Top 24, the range was between the ages of 21 and 29. 36, we see guys, in their early to mid 30s still finishing in the top 36 at running back. So that's going to be our graph. We're going to take a look at our running backs in the top 5 again. And we can see, let's take a look at overall. So we can see 21 to 22-year-old running backs, they're finishing in the top 36 18% of the time. And their distribution is spread pretty evenly. We have 5% that are finishing as RB1s, 8% finishing as RB2s, and another 5% finishing as RB3s. That tells me these RB3s that are finishing there in these young running backs are probably handcuffs, rookies that are on draft picks, that are stuck in a running back by committee situation. Those are the players that we want to target. And those running back threes between the ages of 21 and 24, it's almost 20% of those running backs make up that grouping. Those are the RBs in that top 36 that we want to be targeting. We don't want to touch anyone else. We want 21 to 24 because they still have, shelf life. Their window is still open, and there's a chance that they might ascend into a RB2, possibly even RB1 role when they're given an expanded role in the offense. So that's the first thing I'm noticing there. We can see between the ages of 23 and 26, that's the meat of the production overall. We're talking like 61% of our running back production in the top 36 is going to fall between those age brackets, 23 to 26. And then for 27 and older, we're looking at another 21% of our RBs, 10% finish as RB2s, and 11% finish as RB3s. You're not going to have any 27 and older running backs finish as a RB1. It hasn't happened the last 2 seasons. Not to say that it won't, that there won't be exceptions, but for the last 2 seasons, this has been the pattern. Now, I'll make another updated video, and we'll see what happens as we move on with 2021 season, and I'll add it in, and we'll see if things change. And Derrick Henry, a name that people love to throw out, he was on track this year, and this is his age 27 season. He definitely would have finished top 5, but he's getting older, a lot of mileage on that body, and he got hurt. That's what happens with these running backs. So, again, I'll throw up here one by one for your viewing pleasure. We can see top 5 RBs, 23 to 25. That's going to be the target age for us. We're not investing in these RBs. I need to make that very clear. We're not trading for these running backs. The price to trade for them is going to be so astronomical that it does not make any fiscal sense for us to trade for them. We can draft them, or we can trade for them before they ascend into that top 5. But if they're already established top 5, we're not doing anything there. That's going to set us back in terms of building a sustainable team. Again, with this team, though, with a set of players, these top 5 players, we don't want to carry that player into their age 25 season. Because as we've seen, as soon as they hit 26, they tend to fall out of that top 5 range. We want to trade them while they're still in the top 5, which means we're willing to sacrifice an extra year of production if that means we can maximize our trade value. So our target age for these running backs is going to be age 24. We'll roll with them age 24 season. If things aren't looking good, you need to get out. And by not looking good, I mean if your team's struggling or it doesn't look like you're going to win a title, make your top 5 RB, age 24, available in trade. And you will be able to flip him and acquire a multitude of assets to extend your window. And that's what Dynasty's about. We're not doing it for a year, we're trying to do it for a decade. That's our goal. So our RB1s, we'll extend them a little bit longer. We'll carry them age 25, we're fine with that. Our goal here is, though, to trade them after that age 25 season. So we'll keep them for 1 extra year versus those top 5 backs. And the reason being is the value of a top 5 RB versus the value of RB10 is substantially different. Substantially. You're going to be able to get a lot more for a top 5 guy than you are 9, 10, 11. So if we can keep guy 9, 10, or 11 for 1 additional year and then still trade him before the bottom falls out, which is our age 26 season, we'll do that all day. These are the small moves that we have to use in our leagues to finesse other owners, other managers in our leagues to extend our windows. We're not here to make friends. We're here to win and to dominate. That's the whole purpose of this. The RB2s on the screen. We'll go by this one more time. So our RB2s, our target age on here is going to be, again, age 26. So it pushes back 1 extra year. We went from 24 to 25 to 26 in terms of our target age to trade. Age 26 for an RB2, that's when we're getting out. Because as we can see, after the age of 27, the chances of them finishing in a top 24 spot it drops significantly. So let's get in front of that, trade these players before the bottom falls out. And then for our top 36, again, these are players, it's okay to have an O to RB if this is the role that they're filling. If they're your bye week guy, you have to start a third running back, whatever the situation may be, and you got an O to RB, this is okay. Great examples of the 2021 season are guys that you can maybe had stashed on your roster are like Devontae Freeman's or Mark Ingram's. These are older running backs that, due to injuries and circumstances, have found themselves in prominent roles later on this season. We're okay with that. We can live with that. But we want to be targeting those running backs ages 21 to 24 that fall in this RB3 range, because their windows are so open right now. Their value is so deflated because they're not producing, that the chances of us getting a gem out of this grouping is high. So like these could be in recent years, Chase Edmonds, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, these type of players who all it takes is one situation to change, and now they have RB1, RB2 value. Those are the RBs that we want to target in terms of the top 36 RB3s. So looking at this information and taking this data, what does that tell us? That tells us that the age 26 season, 100%, we need to be moving on. If you're holding these older RBs past that, you have a ticking time bomb on your hands. Your value is plummeting by the carry, by the snap. And we know that 1,800 touch rule, carry rule. And to me, I'm adding receptions into that now. Receptions, like for the longest time, people didn't want to include them, but these RBs are getting out there and catching these screen passes and getting mollywopped by defensive linemen and linebackers and safeties. Those take their toll too. And when we look at a couple of running backs in the league right now, I'm going to give you 5 names that right now, if you're not looking to trade these players, you're doing it wrong. Our first is going to be Derrick Henry. He's hurt right now, so it's an easy name to throw out. But even before the injury, Henry had just hit 1,400 carries. He's exactly at 1,401. And he's got like 100 receptions, 94, 95. So 1,500 touches on his body. That tells me that he probably has one more elite season left. One more. And then maybe one more good RB2 season. But why would we stick around for that diminishing value? There still has to be at least 1 or 2 Derrick Henry truthers in your league. And if you got them, you need to take advantage of it. Put Henry out there, see what you can get. Because right now you could probably still, especially for a team who thinks they're going to compete in 2022 for a championship, and Henry might be that piece to get him over there, to get him over the top. You could take him for everything. Like literally write a blank check. That's what you can do with Derrick Henry in most leagues, especially if you can find that one owner who's that truther, who's like, oh, no, he's going to be all right, yada, yada, yada. No, he's not going to be all right. Henry's been getting like 400 carries a season for the last 2 or 3 years. That body is, again, I'm going to give him one more elite season and then an RB2 season. And then after that, it's all bets are off. But I'm going to trade that extra year of elite production. Get that through your heads. We are trading an extra season of elite production so that we can get elite compensation in return for these players. Don't be that manager who's stubborn, who wants to sit on a player and watch that asset just diminish. Don't do that. That's the quickest way for you to be stuck in purgatory in Dynasty football. Right in that middle range. Winning 6 games a season, never being at the top of the draft to get those studs. You don't want to do that. Our second RB, Dalvin Cook. He's hurt right now. He's 26. He's going to be going into his age 27 season. Injuries are starting to catch up to him. He was hurt a little bit last year. He's got 2 bum shoulders right now with a torn labrum. The thing about Cook, the Vikings have their heir apparent. Alexander Madison has looked great. Every chance he's gotten to start that backfield, he's looked great. So if you're Minnesota, you look at, you have your heir apparent. He's going to be going to his age 27 season next year. Again, he's probably going to have an elite season next year. I wouldn't doubt it. But get in front of it. You have to trade these players before that curve starts to come down. And Cook, he's been a great player. Pretty soon, that's what it's going to be. And you're going to be stuck holding the bag. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Get out while we can still get elite value. And the thing with Cook, he's got some off-field issues right now. We don't know what's going to happen. So if you can move him now, before that even gets even bigger, because that's kind of been buried over the last week or two. If you can move him now before that blows back up, because it's going to come back up, I mean, that's going to be a nice move for you. He's got age going against him. He's got off-field issues going against him, and his heir apparent is already in place. So our third RB on this list is going to be Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Zeke, out of everyone, has the most touches. Zeke is closing in on 1,600 carries alone in like 300 or 400 receptions. Zeke is over that threshold. Zeke's contract, he's got an out after next year, or the Cowboys do. After next season. I'm wagering Zeke has one more year in Dallas for a multitude of reasons. The touches on his body, he's definitely slowing down. They have their heir apparent in Tony Pollard and that contract situation. And if you've watched any games in Dallas this season, when you turn on the game and you're watching it, if you're telling yourself that Tony Pollard does not pop off your screen in comparison to Ezekiel Elliott, you're lying. You're flat out lying. Pollard brings juice. He just has a different gear that Zeke, unfortunately, does not have right now. And Zeke's been a great fantasy running back. A great fantasy running back for several years now. But the window is closing, and it's closing fast. My opinion, out of everyone I'm going to list here, Zeke may be the one whose window has already closed in terms of you getting elite value in return. That ship may have sailed. What I can say to you is, if you have him on your roster, even if your team's not struggling, if your team's in contention, he needs to be gone immediately. 100%, whatever you can do. And you're not just going to give him away. He still maintains value. He might have another good season. Like I said, he's going to be there. He's going to be the feature back next year. But Pollard's already eaten into that role. It's getting closer and closer to a 50-50 split as the season goes on. But for me, Zeke, you might have to hold him until next season and let him pop off for a week or two in the beginning of the year. And once he does, gone immediately. And if you're sitting on Zeke after that, that's on you. You didn't listen to Dynasty League Dynamo. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be on you. Our fourth RB on this list, Aaron Jones. There's a lot going against Jones. We don't know what's going to happen with Rodgers. Adams has already said if Rodgers leaves, I want out. And again, he has his heir apparent already in place in A.J. Dillon. They use a second-round pick on Dillon. And that backfield has gone to a 50-50 split. So with Aaron Jones, age 26 right now, going into his age 27 season, so he's hit that threshold for us where he's got to go. So age, situation on that team, who knows what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, and then heir apparent, A.J. Dillon is already there. He's another player. His value, this is the highest that it's going to be, and it's going to start teetering down. Just based on the numbers. And this is just the last 2 seasons, but this is data that I've been using for 10, 12 years. I've been in Dynasty League since, it's 2021 right now. 2009, 2 years after high school. 2 years after I graduated high school. So 12 years now in Dynasty Leagues, I've been using the same type of formula this entire time to build my teams. My main team, my main league, I've been in this league for 10 years. This is my 10th year in that Dynasty League. And overall, I just won my 100th game, including regular season, including playoffs. In 10 seasons, I'm 144 right now, overall. And in that time frame, 9 full seasons, I've won 4 championships, and I've won the division 7 straight years. And this is a 12-team league, 40-man rosters, full IDP, 11 IDP starters. You had to start 3 running backs in this league, 3 receivers. This is a pretty intense league, and there's a lot of knowledgeable owners in that league. These are the formats that I've used to extend my window. I'm still winning. This is year 10. I'm 9-3 right now, and my team is getting better as the season goes on. I'm probably going to win a division again, and I think I'm the clear 1 or 2 favorite for championship. And this year we're moving to a championship belt. Our first season. I hope to God that I win it. I'm going completely throwing everything against the wall right now because I know my window's closing in that league. And I know that team that I have is getting older. And I'll be doing a video showing you what I'm going to do to flip that team. That's going to be a separate video. But back to Jones. I got carried away there. My apologies. I love Dynasty football. This gets me going, talking about that. I could do this all day. So Jones, 100%, he has to be a trade candidate this offseason. Our last RB. This one was the hardest for me to add to this list. But I had to based on his age and based on recent injury concerns over the last 2 seasons. But out of all of these running backs, if I had to pick one to put on my team for the next 2 seasons and believe that I'm still going to get elite production for 2 more years, it's this player, Alvin Kamara. Kamara, the thing about him is his touches are still low. His overall touches is in like the 1,100 range. Carries, receptions. So he still has a lot of tread on those tires. He should. That offense, though, like, you just don't know. But Kamara's 26 going into his age 27 season. And if I stay true to my formula and what's worked for me for over a decade now, he has to be a trade candidate. Right now, you could get so much for Kamara. You could flip Kamara into a young running back, a Javonte Williams plus. And that's the moves that we have to be looking for all of these running backs. We need to be targeting a younger running back who's on the ascension. An RB2, find a young RB2 finish this season. And those are the players to target for any of these running backs and then get more added onto it. That's how we finesse this. Because these teams who are trading are knowing, they should know that they still are going to have another elite year out of all these running backs. They should. We have to be fine. You have to be comfortable trading that year of production away. Because it's going to help you in the long run. Like, don't be stubborn. Give that extra year of elite production away to set you up for better success down the line. That's what this is about. You know, so like, these are the running backs, these 5 running backs, 100%. You have to be considering moving them once trades open back up. That's 1. And 2, you need to use this formula moving forward. Like, this formula is going to save you a lot of headache down the line when you're struggling with these running backs as they age. The production on the field drops. Teams bring in 2nd round, 3rd round picks as handcuffs. And they're not handcuffs. If a team's investing a 2nd or 3rd round pick in a running back, that's their heir apparent. Or that's going to be their starter soon. That's a lot of draft capital still for RB. Early. 2nd, 3rd round, that's early stuff. So, you don't want to get caught. But look at Aaron Jones. They go out and get A.J. Dillon. Or with Zeke. They went and got Tony Pollard from Memphis. He slid a little bit because Memphis wasn't really known. But look what Memphis has been producing at running back. Henderson, Gibson, Pollard. They've been putting out some good running backs. And Pollard's been nice, man. He's been really nice this season. That's definitely a buy for me. If you can get Pollard in any of these deals and stack other pieces on top of it, that's a win. So take advantage of this. Please listen to some of this advice I've been trying to put out. Again, if you're enjoying this content, consider subscribing. You know, it helps me pump this content out. And I love talking about this, but when I know that the community is getting some type of value out of it and enough value that you're like subscribing to the channel because you want to hear more, that's all I need. When I see a new subscriber, this is no lie. When I see a new subscriber to the channel, I start thinking about new ideas. Like, what can I talk about now? What can I give them now to help them? And that's what this is all about. So, if you guys have any questions, want to talk about any of this stuff, drop comments below. If you agree, let's hear it. If you disagree, let's hear it. Let's have that banter. That's back and forth. That's what fantasy's about, man. So, everybody have a great week. Stay safe. Be on the lookout. If you're still in it, congratulations. It's week 13. For those that don't know, if you're watching this in the future, it's week 13 of the 2021 season. And you're going to see some more videos about covering this content. I'm going to do a tight end video. And if you missed the wide receiver, I've already done that. I'll link that down in the description. So check it out. So everyone have a great week. Stay safe. And I'll see you next time.